Ghost Guardian, Paranormal Amulet Quest, Mystery of Blackwood Junior High School. Chapter 1. The mysterious transfer student. The sun hung low in the sky as a warm breeze rustled the leaves on the trees that surrounded Blackwood Junior High School. The schoolyard, bathed in the golden hues of early afternoon, seemed like any other typical suburban gathering place for teenagers. Kids played on the swings, raced around the track, and engaged in spirited games of soccer on the neatly manicured field. At first glance, there was nothing unusual about the place, but sometimes, looks could be deceiving. Blackwood had a reputation for being the kind of school where rumors thrived. From tales of buried treasure beneath the football field to ghostly apparitions in the gymnasium, the stories were endless. But one story had always lingered in hushed whispers, spoken by the students in huddled groups during lunch breaks and late-night sleepovers. It was the story of the mysterious transfer student who had arrived one fateful day and unwittingly changed everything. On a bright Wednesday morning, just as the bell signaled the start of another school day, the student body of Blackwood Junior High was introduced to Emily. She arrived in a cloud of whispered curiosity, her raven black hair cascading down her back, and her piercing blue eyes scanning the unfamiliar faces with an air of mystery. Dressed in a vintage leather jacket and ripped jeans, she looked like she'd stepped right out of a retro music video. "What's her deal?" Joey, a popular jock with a penchant for gossip, asked his friends as they gathered by their lockers. "Dunno, man, but she's hot," replied Mark, his best friend, his eyes locked on Emily's every move. As Emily navigated the labyrinthine hallways, her eyes settled on the schoolyard. That's where her journey truly began, a journey neither she nor anyone else could have foreseen. The schoolyard, usually filled with laughter and youthful exuberance, stood eerily still as Emily approached. She hesitated for a moment, sensing something unusual in the air. Unbeknownst to her, the schoolyard had a secret that had been dormant for years, waiting for the right moment to awaken. Emily's first steps onto the schoolyard's cracked asphalt sent tremors through the earth. The swing set swayed gently as if welcoming her presence, and the soccer field's grass whispered secrets in the breeze. As she moved closer to the playground equipment, an inexplicable chill ran down her spine. A group of girls nearby noticed Emily and exchanged hushed conversations about the mysterious new arrival. They watched with fascination as she reached out to touch the swing set. But the moment her fingers brushed against the cold, rusted chain, everything changed. A gust of wind swept through the schoolyard, rattling the swings and making the nearby trees creak in protest. Emily's hand recoiled as if she'd touched a live wire. The swing set came to life, each swing moving on its own, back and forth, in perfect synchrony. The chains clanged together rhythmically, creating an eerie, melodic tune. Emily stumbled back, her heart racing, as she realized she had unwittingly set something in motion. The other students, frozen in disbelief, watched as the swing set continued its eerie dance. Joey and Mark, who had been watching from a distance, exchanged wide-eyed glances. "Dude, did you see that?" Joey whispered, his voice quivering. Mark nodded, his curiosity piqued. "I think we just found the school's newest attraction." But it wasn't just the swing set. As Emily took hesitant steps away from it, the soccer ball on the nearby field started moving on its own. It bounced erratically, defying the laws of physics, and sent the players scattering in confusion. The eerie events continued to unfold as Emily's presence seemed to awaken something dormant in the schoolyard. The slide, typically gleaming in the sunlight, began to frost over with an unnatural coldness, and students who dared to slide down felt a bone-chilling chill seep into their skin. As Emily moved towards the tennis court, her every step seemed to send ripples of energy through the ground. The tennis net tightened and loosened randomly, and tennis balls changed direction mid-air, causing players to miss their shots. Chaos ensued, and the once friendly game turned into a bizarre spectacle. In the midst of it all, Emily remained at the center of the storm, her eyes wide with a mixture of fear and fascination. She had unwittingly unleashed a force beyond her understanding, and Blackwood Junior High would never be the same again. The students and teachers, now thoroughly unnerved, watched in disbelief as the schoolyard equipment defied logic and reason. Something was terribly wrong, and it all seemed to revolve around the enigmatic newcomer, Emily. The bell rang, signaling the end of the school day, but the mystery had only just begun. Emily's arrival had set in motion a series of events that would test the limits of belief and plunge the students of Blackwood Junior High into a world of the paranormal. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the schoolyard, the question on everyone's mind was clear. Who was Emily, and what had she brought to Blackwood Junior High? The answers would remain hidden, lurking in the shadows, waiting to be discovered in the chapters that lay ahead. Chapter 2. The possessed swing set. The eerie events on the schoolyard had spread like wildfire. Whispers of the possessed swing set, the dancing soccer ball, and the frost-covered slide echoed through the halls of Blackwood Junior High. The once ordinary schoolyard had become a place of dread and fascination, and the students couldn't stop talking about it. As the days passed, the strangest occurrences seemed to center around the swing set. Students who ventured too close claimed to have seen the swings move on their own, the rusty chains rattling with a ghostly touch. Emily, the mysterious transfer student, had become the prime suspect in the eyes of her peers. In the cafeteria, a group of students huddled around a table, their voices hushed as they discussed the latest developments. "I'm telling you, it's that new girl, Emily," whispered Sarah, a girl with a penchant for drama and gossip. "Ever since she showed up, all this weird stuff has been happening." Mark, Joey's best friend, leaned in, intrigued. "What do you mean, weird stuff?" Sarah's eyes gleamed with excitement. "I heard she's into some dark, supernatural stuff. She probably brought some kind of curse with her." Joey, who had been eavesdropping from a nearby table, couldn't resist joining the conversation. "You guys seriously believe that?" "Come on, it's probably just a prank." Sarah scoffed. "A prank? Have you seen the swings? They're moving on their own, and it's not like anyone's pushing them." Mark nodded in agreement. "I saw it myself. It's like they're possessed or something." Joey rolled his eyes but couldn't deny the strange occurrences had piqued his curiosity. "Fine. Let's say it's not a prank. How do you explain it?" Sarah leaned in closer, her eyes wide with excitement. "I heard she's into witchcraft or something. Maybe she summoned a spirit that's haunting the swing set." Joey chuckled, finding the idea ridiculous. "Witchcraft? Really?" But Sarah's conviction was unwavering. "You'll see, Joey. This place is cursed, and it's all because of her." As the days went by, Emily's presence became more polarizing. Some students avoided her, convinced she was responsible for the strange happenings, while others were drawn to her, seeing her as a mysterious enigma they wanted to unravel. Emily, however, seemed unfazed by the rumors and accusations that swirled around her. She had her own theories about what was happening but kept them to herself. She had experienced enough of the paranormal to recognize that something ancient and powerful was at play. One afternoon, Emily sat on a bench near the swing set, her eyes fixed on the restless swings. They swayed back and forth in a hypnotic rhythm, the chains rattling softly, as if beckoning her closer. She felt a strange connection to the swings, as though they were trying to communicate with her. A group of students gathered at a distance, their whispers growing louder as they watched Emily with a mix of curiosity and suspicion. Among them was Joey, who couldn't resist the temptation to see if there was any truth to the rumors. Mark nudged him. "Come on, let's see what she does." Emily's gaze remained fixed on the swings, and she slowly extended her hand towards them, as if testing the waters. Her fingertips brushed against the cold, rusted chain, and the moment they made contact, a jolt of energy surged through her. The swings reacted instantly. They swung higher and faster, the chains clanging together with a haunting melody. Emily's eyes widened, and she withdrew her hand, her heart pounding in her chest. The onlookers gasped in awe, their doubts fading away as they witnessed the inexplicable. Emily was clearly not responsible for the phenomenon. If anything, she seemed as surprised as they were. Joey exchanged a glance with Mark, both of them realizing that Emily wasn't behind the strange events. The swing set had a mind of its own, and it seemed to have chosen Emily as its conduit. Days turned into weeks, and the schoolyard's paranormal activities only intensified. Students continued to witness the swings moving on their own, the soccer ball defying gravity, and the slide frosting over. The rumors about Emily's involvement in the supernatural slowly faded as the truth became undeniable. One day, during a faculty meeting, the teachers discussed the ongoing disturbances. The principal, Mrs. Henderson, addressed the concerned staff. "I know this may sound absurd, but it's become clear that something unusual is happening on our schoolyard," she admitted, her expression tense. Mr. Reynolds, the science teacher, raised an eyebrow. "You don't think it's just a prank, do you?" Mrs. Henderson shook her head. "I wish it were that simple, but too many students and even some of our colleagues have witnessed these events. It's as if the schoolyard has a mind of its own." The other teachers exchanged skeptical glances, but Mrs. Henderson was determined to get to the bottom of it. "That's why," she continued, "I've decided to have a few of us observe the schoolyard during recess. We need to see for ourselves what's going on." The following day, Mrs. Henderson, Mr. Reynolds, and a handful of other teachers stationed themselves discreetly around the schoolyard during recess. They watched with a mix of curiosity and trepidation as the swings began to move, the soccer ball defied gravity, and the slide frosted over, all in perfect harmony. Mr. Reynolds scratched his head, struggling to find a scientific explanation. "This is unlike anything I've ever seen. It's as if the laws of physics don't apply here." Mrs. Henderson nodded, her face pale. "We can't ignore this any longer. It's not a prank, and it's certainly not Emily's doing. We need to find out what's causing this, for the sake of our students." The teachers left the schoolyard that day with more questions than answers. The truth was out there, waiting to be uncovered, but the mystery of the possessed swing set had only deepened. The students and teachers of Blackwood Junior High were about to embark on a journey into the unknown, where the paranormal and the ordinary collided in ways they could never have imagined. Chapter 3. The Malevolent slide. The days grew warmer as spring settled into Blackwood, but the strange occurrences on the schoolyard showed no signs of abating. If anything, they had intensified, taking on a more ominous and chilling nature. The swing set still swayed on its own, and the soccer ball continued its erratic dance, but it was the slide that had captured the students' attention. On an unusually hot and sunny afternoon, whispers of an inexplicable frost covering the slide drew a curious crowd. As the lunch bell rang, students poured out of the school building, their voices a cacophony of excitement. Emily, the enigmatic transfer student, watched the commotion from a distance, her curiosity piqued by the rumors that swirled around her. A group of friends, led by Sarah, made their way to the slide. She had become the unofficial expert on the school's paranormal activities, and she had a reputation to uphold. "Look at this," Sarah exclaimed, pointing at the slide. "It's covered in frost, and it's, like, 80 degrees out here." Mark, Joey, and a few other students gathered around, staring at the unusual sight. The slide, once gleaming in the sunlight, now glistened with a layer of icy frost that seemed out of place in the warm spring air. Joey shook his head in disbelief. "This is getting weirder by the day." As if on cue, a daring student decided to test the slide's chilling facade. With a mixture of excitement and trepidation, he climbed to the top and positioned himself for a descent. The moment he made contact with the frost-covered surface, his body stiffened, and he let out a sharp cry of pain. The onlookers gasped as they watched in horror. The student's skin had turned ashen, and frostbite-like marks marred his exposed flesh. He struggled to break free but was held in an icy grip, unable to move. Panic swept through the crowd as they realized the slide's malevolence. Some students rushed to the boy's aid, while others frantically called for a teacher. Emily, standing at a distance, observed the scene with a mixture of concern and understanding. She had suspected that the schoolyard harbored a malevolent presence, and the slide's actions confirmed her suspicions. It was as if the very essence of the slide had turned against those who dared to use it. Within minutes, a teacher arrived, and the students explained the bizarre situation. Mrs. Alvarez, a no-nonsense math teacher with a reputation for being skeptical, examined the frost-covered slide with furrowed brows. "This can't be real," she muttered, reaching out to touch the frost with her gloved hand. Her fingers recoiled as they made contact, confirming the icy chill. The trapped student, his breath visible in the cold, pleaded for help. "It won't let go of me, Mrs. Alvarez. I can't move." Mrs. Alvarez was a practical woman, but even she couldn't deny the evidence before her eyes. She attempted to pull the student free, but the slide seemed to resist her efforts, its frosty grip unyielding. As more teachers arrived at the scene, they too struggled to comprehend the unnatural phenomenon. Mr. Reynolds, the science teacher, examined the slide, his brow furrowed in deep thought. "This defies all scientific explanation," he muttered, shaking his head. "It's as if the slide has become a conduit for some otherworldly force." Despite their best efforts, the teachers were unable to free the trapped student from the slide's malevolent hold. It wasn't until Mrs. Henderson, the principal, arrived that a solution was proposed. "We need to contact the authorities," Mrs. Henderson declared, her voice unwavering. "This goes beyond our understanding, and we can't risk any more injuries." The decision was met with a mix of relief and anxiety. The students watched as the trapped boy was carefully extricated from the slide's icy clutches, shivering and shaken but otherwise unharmed. The frost on the slide began to recede, gradually returning to normal, as if the malevolence had retreated for the time being. As the ambulance arrived to tend to the injured student and the police were called to investigate, the schoolyard remained a place of unease and tension. The slide, once a source of innocent fun, now stood as a chilling reminder of the schoolyard's paranormal affliction. Emily, who had been observing from a distance, approached Mrs. Henderson cautiously. "I think I might know what's happening," she said, her voice steady despite the unsettling events. Mrs. Henderson turned to her, her eyes filled with a mix of curiosity and concern. "What do you mean, Emily?" Emily hesitated for a moment, then spoke. "I believe the schoolyard is haunted, but not by a typical ghost. It's as if there's an ancient, malevolent spirit that's taken control of the equipment, and it's growing stronger." The principal regarded Emily with a mixture of skepticism and intrigue. "Haunted? That's quite a claim, Emily." But Emily was resolute. "I've had experiences with the paranormal before. I can sense it. And I think it's tied to the history of this place." Mrs. Henderson considered Emily's words carefully. The mysteries of Blackwood Junior High were far from over, and the Malevolent slide was just the tip of the iceberg. The schoolyard held dark secrets that were waiting to be unraveled, and Emily's insight might just be the key to unlocking them. As the authorities arrived and the injured student was taken away for medical attention, the students and teachers were left to grapple with the unsettling truth. The Malevolent slide had defied the laws of physics, and the schoolyard's paranormal activities were far from over. Blackwood Junior High had become a place of danger and uncertainty, where the normal and the supernatural collided in ways that defied explanation. Chapter 5. The possessed tennis court. The malevolent forces that had taken hold of Blackwood Junior High schoolyard were becoming increasingly unpredictable and dangerous. After the chilling episode with the possessed slide, students and teachers alike approached the schoolyard with a mixture of trepidation and curiosity, never knowing what unsettling event might occur next. One sunny afternoon, the attention shifted from the slide to the tennis court. The court, usually a place of friendly competition and camaraderie, had become a source of fear and unease. It was said that the tennis net had developed a sinister mind of its own. As students gathered to watch a tennis match between two skilled players, tension hung in the air like an ominous cloud. Emily, the transfer student who had been at the center of the schoolyard's paranormal activity, observed from a distance. She had become somewhat of an unofficial expert on the supernatural occurrences, and her presence was often associated with these mysterious events. The match began innocently enough, with the two players rallying back and forth. But as the game progressed, the tennis net began to tighten and loosen randomly, as if it had a life of its own. The players' attempts to adjust to the unpredictable net were met with frustration and bewilderment. Sarah, who had been keeping a close eye on the match, turned to her friends, Mark and Joey. "This is insane. It's like the net is toying with them." Joey nodded in agreement, his eyes locked on the bizarre spectacle. "I don't understand how this is happening." As if the erratic net weren't enough, the tennis balls took on a malevolent behavior of their own. Mid-air, they changed direction, veering off course as if guided by an unseen force. Players ducked and dodged the wayward balls, and some sustained minor injuries in the process. The chaos on the tennis court had reached a new level of intensity. Students and teachers alike watched in shock as the game turned from friendly competition into a perilous ordeal. The tennis court had become a battleground, and the malevolent forces at play seemed determined to torment those who dared to step onto it. Word of the bizarre events on the tennis court spread quickly, and soon, a crowd had gathered to witness the supernatural spectacle. Emily, sensing that this was another manifestation of the schoolyard's malevolence, decided to investigate further. Approaching the court cautiously, Emily observed the players struggling to contend with the possessed net and the wayward tennis balls. It was as if the very rules of the game had been rewritten by an unseen, vengeful presence. Mrs. Henderson, the school principal, arrived on the scene, her expression a mixture of concern and determination. She had become increasingly convinced that the schoolyard was afflicted by a paranormal force, and it was her responsibility to protect her students. "This has gone far enough," Mrs. Henderson declared, raising her voice above the chaos. "We need to confront whatever is causing this. I'm going to challenge the court to a game of tennis." The students and teachers exchanged bewildered glances, uncertain of what to make of the principal's decision. Mrs. Henderson, dressed in a simple tracksuit, picked up a tennis racket and stood on one side of the court, her gaze fixed on the possessed net. Emily approached her, a mixture of admiration and concern in her eyes. "Are you sure about this, Mrs. Henderson?" The principal nodded firmly. "We can't let this malevolent force terrorize our school any longer. If I can challenge it and show that we won't back down, maybe it will reveal itself." With that, Mrs. Henderson served the first ball, and the terrifying showdown began. The tennis net tightened and loosened in response to her every move, but the principal's determination was unwavering. She swung her racket with skill and precision, sending the ball sailing across the court. The malevolent forces seemed to sense the challenge and responded with increased intensity. Tennis balls changed direction mid-air, whizzing past Mrs. Henderson and narrowly missing her. The crowd watched in suspense as the principal continued to play, her every move a testament to her courage. Emily, Mark, Joey, and the others couldn't tear their eyes away from the terrifying showdown. The tennis court had become a battleground where the ordinary clashed with the supernatural, and the outcome remained uncertain. As the game raged on, Emily sensed that the malevolent force was growing angrier and more determined to prevail. It was a battle of wills between Mrs. Henderson and the unseen entity that had taken control of the tennis court. With a final, determined swing of her racket, Mrs. Henderson sent the tennis ball hurtling toward the possessed net. The net tightened one last time, as if in defiance, but this time, it couldn't withstand the force of the principal's will. The net snapped, a spectral howl echoing through the air, and the malevolent presence that had plagued the tennis court seemed to dissipate. The tennis balls dropped to the ground, lifeless and inert, and the chaos came to an abrupt halt. Mrs. Henderson, her breath labored but triumphant, stood at the center of the court, the symbol of resilience and bravery. The crowd erupted in applause, their fear and uncertainty giving way to relief and gratitude. Emily, who had witnessed the entire ordeal, approached the principal with a sense of reverence. "You did it, Mrs. Henderson. You confronted the malevolent force and defeated it." The principal smiled, a mixture of exhaustion and satisfaction in her eyes. "We can't let fear control our lives. We must confront the unknown with courage and determination." As the schoolyard returned to a semblance of normalcy, the students and teachers couldn't help but feel a newfound sense of unity and strength. They had faced the malevolent forces that had plagued their school, and they had emerged victorious. But the mysteries of Blackwood Junior High were far from over, and the malevolent presence that had terrorized the tennis court was just one piece of a larger puzzle. The schoolyard still held secrets waiting to be unraveled, and Emily, Mark, Joey, and the others were determined to uncover the truth, no matter how terrifying it might be. Chapter 5. The Possessed Tennis Court. The haunting grip of the paranormal activity at Blackwood Junior High showed no signs of loosening. After the chilling episode with the malevolent slide, students and teachers had grown increasingly wary of the schoolyard. It had become a place of uncertainty, where the boundaries between the natural and supernatural blurred with each passing day. The latest manifestation of the malevolent presence had cast its sinister shadow upon the tennis court. What had once been a sanctuary of friendly competition had now become a place of dread and apprehension. The tennis net, seemingly possessed by an unseen force, had become an instrument of torment. As students gathered to witness a tennis match between two skilled players, the atmosphere was charged with tension. Emily, the transfer student who had been a constant presence during the schoolyard's paranormal events, observed from a distance. She had become somewhat of an unofficial expert on the supernatural occurrences, her intuition guiding her through the unsettling mysteries. The match began with the usual anticipation, but it didn't take long for the peculiarities to surface. The tennis net, stretched taut across the court, seemed to have developed a sinister sentience of its own. It tightened and loosened randomly, making the game an unpredictable ordeal. Sarah, the self-appointed paranormal investigator among the students, watched with a mix of fascination and fear. "Look at that net. It's tightening and loosening on its own. It's like it's alive." Mark, Joey, and a few others gathered around, their eyes fixed on the bizarre spectacle. Joey, who had initially been skeptical of the supernatural occurrences, couldn't help but acknowledge the unnerving truth. "This isn't normal," he muttered, his voice tinged with disbelief. "It's as if the net has a mind of its own." As if the erratic behavior of the net weren't enough, the tennis balls added to the malevolent atmosphere. Mid-air, they defied the laws of physics, changing direction as if guided by an invisible hand. Players lunged and stumbled, attempting to avoid the rogue tennis balls, but some sustained minor injuries in the process. Panic rippled through the crowd as the bizarre spectacle unfolded before their eyes. It was no longer a friendly tennis match but a perilous encounter with the unknown. The tennis court had transformed into a battleground, where the very essence of reality seemed to have been rewritten. Word of the sinister events on the tennis court spread like wildfire, and soon, a crowd had gathered to witness the supernatural chaos. Emily, sensing that this was another manifestation of the schoolyard's malevolence, decided to investigate further. Approaching the court cautiously, Emily observed the players as they struggled to contend with the possessed net and the wayward tennis balls. It was as if the very rules of the game had been rewritten by an unseen, vengeful presence. Mrs. Henderson, the school principal, arrived at the scene, her expression a mixture of concern and determination. She had become increasingly convinced that the schoolyard was afflicted by a paranormal force, and it was her responsibility to protect her students. "This has gone far enough," Mrs. Henderson declared, raising her voice above the chaos. "We need to confront whatever is causing this. I'm going to challenge the court to a game of tennis." The students and teachers exchanged bewildered glances, uncertain of what to make of the principal's decision. Mrs. Henderson, dressed in a simple tracksuit, picked up a tennis racket and stood resolutely on one side of the court, her gaze fixed on the possessed net. Emily approached her, a mixture of admiration and concern in her eyes. "Are you sure about this, Mrs. Henderson?" The principal nodded firmly. "We can't let this malevolent force terrorize our school any longer. If I can challenge it and show that we won't back down, maybe it will reveal itself." With that, Mrs. Henderson served the first ball, and the terrifying showdown began. The tennis net tightened and loosened in response to her every move, but the principal's determination was unwavering. She swung her racket with skill and precision, sending the ball soaring across the court. The malevolent forces seemed to sense the challenge and responded with increased intensity. Tennis balls changed direction mid-air, whizzing past Mrs. Henderson and narrowly missing her. The crowd watched in suspense as the principal continued to play, her every move a testament to her courage. Emily, Mark, Joey, and the others couldn't tear their eyes away from the terrifying showdown. The tennis court had become a battleground where the ordinary clashed with the supernatural, and the outcome remained uncertain. As the game raged on, Emily sensed that the malevolent force was growing angrier and more determined to prevail. It was a battle of wills between Mrs. Henderson and the unseen entity that had taken control of the tennis court. With a final, determined swing of her racket, Mrs. Henderson sent the tennis ball hurtling toward the possessed net. The net tightened one last time, as if in defiance, but this time, it couldn't withstand the force of the principal's will. The net snapped. A Spectral Howl, Chapter 6. The track and field nightmare. As the days passed at Blackwood Junior High, the schoolyard's malevolent activity showed no signs of abating. The possessed swing set, the malevolent slide, and the haunted tennis court had become the stuff of legend among the students and teachers. Fear and curiosity danced in equal measure, and the atmosphere remained charged with anticipation for the next unsettling event. One evening, as the moon hung heavy in the night sky, a new and sinister chapter of the haunting unfolded. Students began experiencing vivid, shared nightmares, each one centered around the malevolent spirit that seemed to have taken control of the schoolyard equipment. In these shared dreams, they witnessed a malevolent entity lurking in the shadows, its presence foreboding and malefic. It moved with an unnatural grace, as if it were a puppet master pulling the strings of the possessed equipment. The swing set swung wildly, its chains rattling ominously. The slide frosted over, transforming into a chilling descent into darkness. Tennis balls zipped through the air, changing direction erratically, and the tennis net tightened and loosened like a writhing serpent. Sarah, Mark, Joey, and the other students who had been witnesses to the supernatural events were haunted by these dreams. They gathered in hushed whispers, their eyes filled with dread. "It was so real," Mark whispered, his voice quivering. "I could feel the malevolence of that spirit in my dream." Joey nodded, his face pale. "It's like we were all there, witnessing it together." As they discussed their shared nightmares, Emily approached them, her presence a comforting yet unsettling enigma. She had been a central figure in the schoolyard's paranormal activity, and the others couldn't help but look to her for answers. Emily listened to their accounts of the nightmares, her expression troubled. "I've felt the presence of the malevolent spirit too," she admitted softly. "But it's not just in the dreams." The others exchanged curious glances. "What do you mean?" Sarah asked, her eyes searching Emily's face for answers. Emily hesitated, her reluctance evident. "I can sense the spirit even when I'm awake. It's like it's trying to communicate with me." Mark leaned in closer, intrigued and apprehensive. "You can communicate with it? Why haven't you told us?" Emily's gaze dropped to the ground. "Because it's dangerous. I don't know what it wants, and I don't want to invite more harm. But it's growing more persistent, and I'm not sure how much longer I can keep it at bay." Joey frowned, his concern deepening. "We can't keep living like this, haunted by these nightmares. If you can communicate with the spirit, maybe you can find out what it wants and how to stop it." Emily shook her head, her eyes filled with a mixture of fear and determination. "I'll try, but I need to be careful. This spirit is powerful, and I don't know what it's capable of." The following day, Emily ventured into the schoolyard alone, her heart heavy with apprehension. She closed her eyes and focused on the malevolent presence that seemed to linger in the air. It was like an oppressive weight on her shoulders, suffocating and relentless. In the solitude of the schoolyard, Emily opened herself to the spirit, allowing it to enter her consciousness. She felt a shiver run down her spine as the malevolent entity's presence enveloped her. It was as if a dark cloud had descended upon her mind. "I know you're there," Emily whispered, her voice trembling. "What do you want?" In the depths of her mind, she saw flashes of images, distorted and nightmarish. The malevolent spirit communicated through visions, and Emily struggled to make sense of them. The spirit showed her the schoolyard equipment, each piece possessed and animated by its malevolence. It reveled in the chaos and fear it had sown among the students and teachers. But beneath the malevolence, Emily sensed a deep and unresolved anger, a torment that had bound the spirit to the schoolyard. "What happened to you?" Emily asked, her voice laced with sympathy. "Why are you doing this?" The spirit's response was a chilling whisper in her mind, a cryptic riddle that left her with more questions than answers. It spoke of a past injustice, a betrayal, and a desire for vengeance that had festered for centuries. Emily realized that the malevolent spirit was trapped in a cycle of torment, unable to find peace. It sought to perpetuate the fear and chaos that had consumed it, a desperate attempt to regain a sense of control. "I can't help you if you continue like this," Emily whispered, tears welling up in her eyes. "But I can try to find a way to free you from this torment, if you'll let me." The malevolent spirit's presence retreated, leaving Emily with a profound sense of unease. She knew that her offer to help had opened a door to a new and perilous chapter of the haunting, one that would test her courage and determination like never before. As Emily left the schoolyard, she couldn't help but wonder if there was a way to break the cycle of malevolence that had ensnared the spirit. The nightmares continued to haunt the students, and the malevolent presence remained a looming threat, but Emily was determined to uncover the truth and put an end to the schoolyard's supernatural nightmare. Chapter 7. Emily's revelation: the weight of the malevolent presence that had taken hold of Blackwood Junior High schoolyard bore down on Emily like a relentless storm. Each day brought new horrors, from possessed playground equipment to shared nightmares that haunted the students and teachers alike. Emily had become an unwitting conduit to the malevolent spirit that seemed determined to wreak havoc upon the school, and she carried the burden of its dark secrets. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Emily sat alone on a bench in the schoolyard, her mind heavy with the knowledge of the malevolent spirit's vengeful intentions. She couldn't bear the weight of this revelation any longer, and she needed someone to confide in, someone she could trust. Sarah, who had been a staunch ally throughout the haunting, approached Emily cautiously. She had witnessed the toll that the malevolent spirit had taken on Emily, and she sensed that something was amiss. "Emily," Sarah began gently, "you've been acting different lately. Is there something you're not telling us?" Emily looked up at Sarah, her eyes filled with a mixture of fear and guilt. She had kept her ability to communicate with the spirit a secret for fear of exposing her friends to even greater danger. But the burden of the truth had become too much to bear. Tears welled up in Emily's eyes as she finally opened up to her close friend. "I have to tell you something, Sarah. Something I should have told you a long time ago." Sarah sat down beside Emily, her expression a blend of concern and empathy. "You can trust me, Emily. Whatever it is, we'll face it together." Taking a deep breath, Emily began to recount her experiences with the malevolent spirit. She described the nightmares, the visions, and the cryptic messages that had been communicated to her. She revealed that the spirit was vengeful and harbored a deep-seated desire to harm the school. Sarah listened in stunned silence, her mind grappling with the enormity of Emily's revelation. The malevolent spirit that had terrorized their schoolyard had a purpose, a sinister goal that threatened the safety of everyone at Blackwood Junior High. "Why didn't you tell us sooner?" Sarah asked, her voice tinged with a mix of concern and frustration. Emily's eyes filled with tears as she responded, "I was scared, Sarah. Scared of what the spirit might do if it knew I had confided in someone." I didn't want to put you or anyone else in danger. Sarah placed a comforting hand on Emily's shoulder. I understand why you kept it a secret, but we can't face this alone. We need to find a solution, and we need to do it together. Emily nodded, her relief evident. She had been carrying the burden of the malevolent spirit's secrets for too long, and the weight of it had grown unbearable. She needed the support of her friends, now more than ever. Sarah took a moment to gather her thoughts before speaking. If the spirit wants to harm the school, we need to figure out why. What happened in the past that could have led to this anger and desire for revenge? Emily recounted the visions she had seen in her communication with the spirit, the glimpses of a long-forgotten history. She spoke of betrayal, injustice, and a desire for vengeance that had been festering for centuries. Sarah's brow furrowed as she processed the information. We need to dig deeper into the school's history, Emily. There must be something buried in the past that holds the key to understanding the spirit's motives. Emily nodded in agreement. I've been researching, but I haven't found anything concrete yet. It's like the school's history has been erased or hidden. Sarah's determination shone through as she spoke. Then we'll start from scratch. We'll scour the school records, talk to teachers and staff who have been here for a long time, and maybe even visit the local library or historical society. We won't stop until we find the answers we need. Emily's gratitude swelled as she looked at her friend. Thank you, Sarah. I don't know what I'd do without you. Sarah smiled, her resolve unwavering. We're in this together, Emily. We'll find a way to stop this malevolent spirit and protect our school. As they made plans to delve into the school's history and uncover the secrets that lay hidden, Emily felt a glimmer of hope amidst the darkness that had enveloped Blackwood Junior High. She had confided in her close friend, and together, they would face the malevolent spirit's vengeful intentions and find a way to bring an end to the haunting that had gripped their school. Chapter 8. The paranormal investigation, the determination to uncover the truth about the malevolent spirit that plagued Blackwood Junior High School, had ignited a spark of unity among a group of students. Emily, Sarah, Mark, Joey, and a few others had banded together, committed to unraveling the mysteries of the schoolyard's haunting. Armed with curiosity and a growing sense of purpose, they embarked on a quest to investigate the history of their schoolyard. Their first stop was the school's archives, a dusty room filled with old documents and records that held the key to the past. Emily, who had already been researching the school's history, led the way, guiding her friends through the labyrinthine stacks of papers. We need to look for anything related to the groundskeepers, Emily explained, her fingers tracing the spines of dusty volumes. If the spirit is vengeful, it might be connected to someone who worked on the school grounds. The group began to scour the records, poring over faded photographs, handwritten letters, and yellowing newspaper clippings. As they delved deeper into the past, they discovered a name that sent shivers down their spines: Samuel Weaver, the groundskeeper who had served Blackwood Junior High School over a century ago. A newspaper article from the late 1800s caught their attention. The headline read, "Groundskeeper accused of heinous crime." The article recounted a tragic event in the school's history. Samuel Weaver had been accused of a crime he vehemently denied committing. He had been unjustly accused and subsequently sentenced to a lengthy prison term. Mark, his eyes wide with astonishment, read aloud from the article. Samuel Weaver maintained his innocence until the end, claiming that he was framed for a crime he did not commit. His tragic fate remains a dark stain on the history of Blackwood Junior High School. Joey furrowed his brow as he absorbed the information. Could this be the reason for the spirit's anger and desire for revenge? If Weaver was unjustly accused, his spirit might still be seeking justice. Sarah nodded in agreement. It makes sense. If the spirit is indeed Weaver's, it would explain why it's targeting the school. It wants to make those responsible for his unjust conviction pay. Emily's heart sank as the pieces of the puzzle fell into place. We have to find out more about Samuel Weaver. We need to know who accused him and why he was convicted. Their investigation led them to the school's oldest surviving records, where they discovered the trial transcripts and witness testimonies. The details painted a harrowing picture of injustice. Samuel Weaver had been accused of a crime he could not have committed, and the evidence against him had been flimsy at best. In the transcript, they found a witness who had testified against Weaver, a janitor who claimed to have seen him near the scene of the crime. But as they dug deeper, they uncovered inconsistencies in the witness's testimony. The janitor had a history of petty theft, and his credibility had been questionable from the start. Emily's eyes filled with a mix of anger and sorrow as she read through the transcripts. Weaver was framed, and the real culprit was never brought to justice. This is the injustice that has fueled the spirit's anger. Sarah nodded in agreement. We need to find a way to clear Samuel Weaver's name and bring closure to his spirit. That's the only way to end the haunting. Determined to right the historical wrong, the group of students embarked on a mission to gather evidence that would exonerate Samuel Weaver. They sought out descendants of witnesses and tracked down old letters and diaries that hinted at the truth. The more they uncovered, the more convinced they became that Samuel Weaver had been a victim of a grave miscarriage of justice. Their efforts brought them to the local historical society, where they uncovered a long-forgotten document that could turn the tide of their investigation. It was a letter written by the real perpetrator, confessing to the crime for which Samuel Weaver had been falsely accused. With the evidence in hand, Emily, Sarah, Mark, Joey, and the others stood united in their quest for justice. They were determined to confront the malevolent spirit and offer it the truth, in the hope that it would find peace and release the schoolyard from its haunting grip. As they prepared to communicate with the vengeful spirit once more, Emily couldn't help but feel a sense of purpose and resolve. The mysteries of Blackwood Junior High were beginning to unravel, and the malevolent presence that had tormented their school might finally find the justice it had sought for so long. Chapter 9. The seance. The night had fallen over Blackwood Junior High School, casting the schoolyard into darkness as Emily, Sarah, Mark, Joey, and their group of determined students gathered in secret. They were armed with the evidence that would clear Samuel Weaver's name and hoped to use it to communicate with the vengeful spirit that had tormented their school. Emily, who had become the reluctant medium between the living and the dead, took center stage. In her hands, she held the confession letter written by the real perpetrator of the crime for which Samuel Weaver had been unjustly accused. The letter had the potential to bring closure to the malevolent spirit and finally free their schoolyard from its haunting grip. "We're here to offer the truth to the spirit that haunts our school," Emily began, her voice steady but tinged with nervousness. "We have evidence that proves Samuel Weaver's innocence. Our goal is to communicate with the spirit and make amends for the injustice that has bound it to this place." Sarah, Mark, Joey, and the others nodded in agreement, their determination unwavering. They had come this far in their quest for justice, and they were prepared to confront the malevolent presence that had terrorized their school. Emily set the confession letter on a small makeshift altar at the center of their gathering. She lit a candle, and the flickering flame cast eerie shadows on the faces of her friends. As they joined hands and closed their eyes, Emily began to focus her thoughts and open herself to the spirit that had plagued Blackwood Junior High. She whispered the spirit's name, a name that had been lost to time until now. Samuel Weaver, we offer you the truth, Emily murmured. We know you were unjustly accused, and we have evidence that can clear your name. Please, if you're here, show us a sign. A palpable tension hung in the air as they waited in the darkness, their breaths hushed in anticipation. Minutes passed, and the night remained silent, the only sound the gentle rustling of leaves in the wind. Just when doubt began to creep in, a chilling gust of wind swept through the schoolyard, extinguishing the candle's flame. The group gasped in unison, their hands tightening in the darkness. Emily, undeterred, spoke once more. We know you're here, Samuel. We have evidence that can set you free. Please, communicate with us. The atmosphere grew heavy with a sense of foreboding as the students continued to wait. Then, slowly, a presence began to manifest. Faint whispers echoed through the night, chilling the group to their bones. Images flickered in their minds, visions of a tormented spirit seeking vengeance and release. They saw Samuel Weaver, wronged and angry, bound to the schoolyard by a sense of injustice that had festered for centuries. As the seance progressed, the malevolent spirit's anger intensified. Shadows danced menacingly around them, and the night seemed to grow colder, as if the very essence of the schoolyard had turned against them. Suddenly, a loud, otherworldly shriek pierced the air, and the schoolyard descended into chaos. The possessed swing set swung wildly, chains rattling with an eerie rhythm. The malevolent slide transformed into a freezing descent into darkness, and the tennis court erupted with supernatural activity as the possessed net tightened and loosened in a frenzy. Students and teachers who had been drawn to the strange occurrences in the schoolyard witnessed the haunting firsthand, their faces etched with terror. Panic and confusion swept through the crowd as the malevolent spirit's presence enveloped them. Emily, her connection to the spirit growing stronger, pleaded with it. Samuel, we have the evidence to clear your name. You don't have to remain here in torment. Please, accept the truth and find peace. But the spirit's anger seemed to intensify, and its response was a deafening cacophony of haunting wails and spectral phenomena that defied the laws of nature. The malevolent presence was unwilling to let go of its vengeful purpose, and it lashed out with all its malefic might. Emily, Sarah, Mark, Joey, and the others clung to one another, their determination unwavering even in the face of the malevolent spirit's fury. They knew that they were the only hope for bringing an end to the haunting and freeing their school from its grip. As the night wore on, they continued to communicate with the spirit, offering it the truth and the chance for redemption. The malevolent presence raged against their efforts, but Emily and her friends refused to back down. Their seance became a battle of wills, a confrontation between the living and the dead. The outcome remained uncertain, but they were determined to offer the malevolent spirit the chance for peace and closure, no matter the cost. As the night reached its darkest hour, the schoolyard trembled with supernatural energy, and the malevolent spirit's presence reached its zenith. The fate of Blackwood Junior High hung in the balance, and Emily and her friends were willing to risk everything to bring an end to the haunting that had gripped their school for far too long. Chapter 10. Confrontation with the Malevolent Spirit. The confrontation with the malevolent spirit had escalated to a point of no return. Emily's connection with the vengeful entity had deepened, revealing not only its anger but also the tragic backstory that had bound it to the schoolyard. As the group of students huddled together in the midst of the supernatural chaos, Emily's voice trembled with a mixture of fear and determination. She had become the reluctant mediator between the living and the dead, her ability to communicate with the spirit a double-edged sword. I can feel its pain, Emily whispered, her eyes haunted. The spirit's name is Samuel Weaver, and he was the groundskeeper of this school over a century ago. He was unjustly accused of a crime he didn't commit, and that injustice has fueled his anger and desire for vengeance. Sarah, Mark, Joey, and the others exchanged glances, their hearts heavy with sympathy for Samuel Weaver's plight. The revelation of his tragic backstory had only deepened their resolve to find a way to appease the spirit and put an end to the haunting. "We have to make things right for Samuel," Sarah declared, her voice filled with conviction. "We have the evidence to clear his name, and we need to present it to the spirit. Maybe that's the key to ending this." With a newfound sense of purpose, the group approached the altar where the confession letter lay. They hoped that by offering the truth to Samuel Weaver, they could quell his anger and allow him to find the peace that had eluded him for so long. As they stood before the altar, the malevolent spirit's presence intensified. Shadows swirled around them, and the possessed equipment continued to wreak havoc in the schoolyard. It was as if the spirit was determined to resist their efforts to communicate. Emily closed her eyes and called out to Samuel Weaver once more. "Samuel, we have evidence that can clear your name. We know you were wronged, and we want to make amends for the injustice that has bound you to this place." The malevolent spirit's response was a guttural growl, a manifestation of its anger and torment. The night seemed to grow darker, and the supernatural phenomena escalated. "We can't back down," Mark said, his voice unwavering. "We have to confront the spirit head-on and offer it the truth." With that, the group took a step closer to the altar, their collective determination like a beacon of hope in the midst of the malevolent chaos. Emily reached for the confession letter, her fingers trembling as she held it aloft. "Samuel, please," Emily implored, tears welling up in her eyes. "Accept the truth and find the peace you deserve." Suddenly, the malevolent spirit's presence surged forward, a swirling vortex of darkness and anger. It enveloped Emily, surrounding her with an otherworldly force that threatened to consume her. The group gasped in horror, their voices lost amidst the supernatural tempest. But Emily's connection with the spirit deepened further, and she felt a flood of emotions and memories wash over her. She saw glimpses of Samuel Weaver's life, his dedication to the school, and the unjust accusation that had shattered his world. Through their connection, Emily heard Samuel's anguished voice, his words a haunting lament. "I was innocent, and they took everything from me. I cannot find peace until the truth is known." Emily's eyes snapped open, her resolve solidified. "We will make sure the truth is known, Samuel. You won't be alone in this anymore." With that declaration, the group braced themselves for the climactic battle that was about to unfold. The malevolent spirit, fueled by centuries of anger and injustice, surged forward, its presence a swirling maelstrom of darkness and despair. Emily and her friends stood their ground, determined to offer the spirit the truth and the chance for redemption. The supernatural chaos raged around them, but they were prepared to face whatever challenges lay ahead. A fierce battle ensued between the malevolent spirit and the students, a struggle that transcended the boundaries of the natural and supernatural. The outcome remained uncertain, but their determination to bring an end to the haunting that had gripped their school was unwavering. In the midst of the supernatural tempest, a glimmer of hope emerged. The malevolent spirit, tormented and enraged for so long, had finally found someone willing to listen and to offer the truth. It was a battle that would test their courage, their bonds of friendship, and their belief in the power of justice to bring peace to a restless spirit. Chapter 11. The school's decision, the battle with the malevolent spirit, had taken a toll on both the students and the vengeful entity that had haunted Blackwood Junior High School for centuries. The supernatural tempest that had raged in the schoolyard had weakened the spirit, but it had not been fully defeated. Emily and her friends had done their best to communicate with Samuel Weaver, offering him the truth and the chance for redemption. The battle between the living and the dead had been fierce, and the outcome remained uncertain. As they retreated from the schoolyard, they could sense the spirit's presence still lingering, its anger undiminished. The following days were filled with tension and uncertainty. The malevolent haunting had not abated, and the schoolyard remained a place of fear and unease. Students and teachers continued to witness the supernatural phenomena, and the chaos caused by the possessed equipment had not ceased. Inside the school, the administration found themselves facing a difficult decision. The haunting had escalated to a point where it could no longer be ignored. The safety of the students and the reputation of the school were at stake. In a tense meeting, the school's principal, Mr. Thompson, gathered the staff and faculty to discuss the situation. He wore a troubled expression as he addressed the room. The haunting in our schoolyard has reached a critical point. We can no longer dismiss it as a mere prank or superstition. It's affecting our students' education and well-being. A chorus of concerned voices filled the room as teachers and staff shared their experiences and fears. The haunting had disrupted classes, caused injuries, and instilled fear among the students. It had become impossible to continue normal school activities. Mr. Thompson continued, "We have to consider the possibility of shutting down the school temporarily until we can find a solution to this haunting. Our students' safety must be our top priority." As the school administration debated their options, the parents of Blackwood Junior High students grew increasingly concerned. Reports of the haunting had spread throughout the community, and parents demanded answers. They held meetings, wrote letters, and voiced their fears about the safety of their children. One evening, a group of parents gathered outside the school, holding signs that read, "Protect our children," and "No more haunting." They called on the school administration to take action and ensure the safety of the students. Emily's parents were among those demanding answers. They had seen the toll the haunting had taken on their daughter and her friends, and they were worried for her safety. Inside the school, Mr. Thompson and the administration wrestled with a difficult decision. Closing the school temporarily would be a drastic measure, but it seemed like the only way to protect the students from the malevolent spirit's wrath. However, a voice of reason emerged in the form of Ms. Hernandez, a history teacher with a deep interest in the school's past. She had been following the students' efforts to uncover the truth about Samuel Weaver and had faith that justice could prevail. "I believe the solution lies in finding the truth and offering closure to the spirit," Ms. Hernandez suggested during the administration's meeting. "Our students have made significant progress in uncovering the injustice that binds the spirit to this place. If we can clear Samuel Weaver's name, perhaps the haunting will finally cease." Her words resonated with some of the staff, who saw the merit in pursuing a resolution that did not involve shutting down the school. They knew that the battle with the malevolent spirit was far from over, but they were willing to support the students' efforts to bring an end to the haunting. Outside, the parents' protests continued, but their voices were not unanimous. Some parents believed in the school's commitment to their children's safety, while others demanded immediate action. As the haunting escalated and tensions grew, the fate of Blackwood Junior High School hung in the balance. The school administration was faced with a difficult decision: to shut down temporarily or to continue supporting the students in their quest for justice and closure. The battle with the malevolent spirit had weakened its grip on the schoolyard, but it had not fully defeated the vengeful entity. The students' determination to uncover the truth had ignited a beacon of hope, but the final outcome remained uncertain. Blackwood Junior High School was at a crossroads, and the path it would take would shape the future of the students and the fate of the malevolent spirit that continued to haunt its grounds. Chapter 12. The ancient amulet. As the haunting at Blackwood Junior High School reached a critical point, the students and staff were caught in a relentless struggle against the malevolent spirit that had tormented the schoolyard for centuries. The debate over whether to temporarily shut down the school or continue seeking a solution raged on, but one glimmer of hope emerged from an unexpected source: a local historian named Professor Lorraine. Professor Lorraine had long been fascinated by the history of their town and had a reputation for unraveling its most enigmatic mysteries. She had been following the events at Blackwood Junior High with keen interest and, after hearing of the students' efforts, decided to offer her assistance. One evening, Emily, Sarah, Mark, Joey, and the others gathered in Professor Lorraine's cluttered, book-lined study. The room smelled of old leather and parchment, and the dim light cast long shadows on the walls. "You see," Professor Lorraine began, her voice tinged with excitement, "Blackwood has a long history, and with it comes legends and folklore. I believe there may be a solution to the haunting, buried deep within the town's past." She went on to explain that there was an ancient amulet rumored to have the power to break curses and appease vengeful spirits. According to local lore, the amulet had been hidden away for centuries, safeguarded by a secret society known as the Guardians of Blackwood. The amulet is said to be the key to restoring peace to the town and lifting the curse that binds the malevolent spirit to the schoolyard, Professor Lorraine continued. But finding it won't be easy. It's said to be protected by a series of trials and challenges to prove the worthiness of those who seek it. The group exchanged glances, their determination unwavering. They knew that finding the ancient amulet was their best chance to bring an end to the haunting and clear Samuel Weaver's name once and for all. "We're willing to do whatever it takes," Emily declared, her voice filled with resolve. "We'll embark on this perilous journey and face the challenges that lie ahead." Professor Lorraine nodded approvingly. "Very well, but you must be prepared. The trials can be treacherous, and the challenges will test your courage and resourcefulness. I'll provide you with what information I have about the amulet's possible locations, but the rest is up to you." With the historian's guidance, the group began their quest to find the ancient amulet. Their first clue led them to the town's historical society, where they uncovered a cryptic map that hinted at the amulet's hidden location. The map pointed to a series of landmarks scattered throughout Blackwood, each representing a trial that must be overcome. The group set out on their journey, their determination unwavering, and their hearts filled with hope that they were one step closer to ending the haunting. Their first trial led them to an old cemetery at the edge of town, where they had to decipher a series of ancient engravings to unlock the next clue. It was a test of their ability to unravel the mysteries of the past, and they succeeded with flying colors. The second trial took them deep into the heart of the town's dense forest, where they had to navigate a complex maze of thorns and brambles. It was a test of their resilience and teamwork, and they emerged victorious. The third trial led them to the shores of a secluded lake, where they had to answer a riddle posed by an enigmatic figure known as the Guardian of the Waters. They proved their wit and wisdom, earning the Guardian's approval and the next clue. Each trial brought them closer to the amulet, but they knew that the challenges would only grow more perilous as they continued their journey. They faced tests of strength, courage, and ingenuity, all while the haunting at the school escalated, reminding them of the urgency of their quest. Emily, Sarah, Mark, Joey, and the others pressed on, driven by their determination to bring an end to the malevolent spirit's torment and free their school from its grip. The ancient amulet held the key to their success, and they were willing to face whatever challenges lay ahead to obtain it. Their journey was fraught with danger and uncertainty, but with each trial they overcame, they grew stronger and more united. The fate of Blackwood Junior High School and the resolution of a centuries-old injustice hung in the balance, and they were prepared to face whatever trials awaited them to achieve their goal. Chapter 13. The final showdown. After a series of perilous trials and challenges, Emily, Sarah, Mark, Joey, and the others had finally obtained the ancient amulet, a powerful artifact rumored to have the ability to break curses and appease vengeful spirits. Their journey had tested their strength, courage, and resourcefulness, and now they stood on the precipice of the final showdown with the malevolent spirit that had haunted Blackwood Junior High School for centuries. Armed with the amulet, the group returned to the schoolyard, their hearts filled with determination and hope. The haunting had not abated, and the supernatural chaos continued to grip the school. They knew that the time had come to confront the malevolent spirit and put an end to its torment. As they stood before the altar where the confession letter had been placed, Emily held the ancient amulet in her trembling hand. The amulet pulsed with a soft, ethereal light, a testament to its otherworldly power. "We have the amulet," Emily said, her voice filled with a mixture of determination and trepidation. "This is our chance to weaken the spirit and offer it the truth." With a collective breath, they focused their energies on the amulet and its potential to break the curse that had bound Samuel Weaver's vengeful spirit to the schoolyard. Emily led the way, her connection to the spirit deepening with each passing moment. As the amulet's power began to resonate with the malevolent presence, the schoolyard trembled, and the possessed equipment reacted violently. The possessed swing set swung wildly, chains rattling, while the malevolent slide exuded an icy chill that cut through the warm air. With unwavering resolve, Emily called out to Samuel Weaver once more. "Samuel, we have the power to end this torment. We have evidence that can clear your name. Please, accept the truth and find peace." The malevolent spirit's response was a deafening cacophony of haunting wails and spectral phenomena that defied the laws of nature. It lashed out with all its malefic might, determined to resist the amulet's power and the students' efforts to communicate. But the amulet's aura grew stronger, its light intensifying as it pushed back against the spirit's anger and despair. Emily's connection with the spirit deepened further, and she saw glimpses of Samuel Weaver's tortured soul, trapped in a never-ending cycle of vengeance and torment. "We can free you from this torment, Samuel," Emily pleaded, tears in her eyes. "Accept the truth and find the peace you deserve." The malevolent spirit's resistance faltered, and its spectral form began to weaken. The schoolyard, once consumed by chaos, began to calm as the supernatural tempest subsided. Realizing that they had a brief opportunity to act, Emily and her friends approached the altar, their hearts pounding with a mixture of fear and hope. Emily held the amulet aloft and gently placed it next to the confession letter. The amulet's power enveloped the confession letter, infusing it with a radiant energy that seemed to pierce through the darkness surrounding the malevolent spirit. A soft, ethereal glow emanated from the altar, illuminating the night. In that moment, the truth was revealed to the malevolent spirit. Samuel Weaver's innocence was laid bare, and the injustice that had bound him to the schoolyard was finally acknowledged. The spirit's anger and despair began to dissipate, replaced by a profound sense of longing and sorrow. Emily watched as the spirit's spectral form gradually transformed, its malevolence giving way to a more peaceful presence. The haunting at Blackwood Junior High School was coming to an end, and the schoolyard returned to a state of calm. But the final resolution came at a great cost. As the malevolent spirit's presence diminished, Emily realized the truth. The spirit could only find peace by departing from the schoolyard, leaving behind the place it had been bound to for so long. With a heavy heart, Emily knew that she had a difficult choice to make. She turned to her friends, her voice filled with emotion. The spirit can find peace, but only if it leaves this place. It's the only way to end the haunting. Her friends nodded in understanding, their expressions a mixture of sadness and acceptance. They had come too far in their quest for justice to turn back now. With the amulet's power still resonating, Emily channeled her connection to the spirit one last time. Samuel, it's time to find the peace you've longed for. Leave this place, and may you finally rest. As the amulet's energy enveloped the spirit, it began to dissipate, gradually fading from the schoolyard. The haunting at Blackwood Junior High School came to an end, and a sense of peace descended upon the once turbulent grounds. Emily and her friends watched as the spirit departed, their hearts heavy with the knowledge that they had played a pivotal role in bringing an end to the centuries-old injustice. The schoolyard was finally free from the malevolent presence that had haunted it for so long. The following days saw a transformation at Blackwood Junior High School. The haunting had ceased, and a sense of normalcy returned to the once troubled schoolyard. Students and teachers felt a renewed sense of safety and calm. The school administration, with the support of Professor Lorraine, decided to honor Samuel Weaver's memory by erecting a memorial in his name. The truth of his innocence had been acknowledged, and justice had finally been served. Emily, Sarah, Mark, Joey, and the others had faced unimaginable challenges and trials, but they had emerged victorious. Their unwavering determination and belief in the power of justice had brought an end to the haunting that had gripped their school. As they stood in the schoolyard, now free from the malevolent spirit's presence, they knew that they had made a profound difference. The mysteries of Blackwood Junior High had been unraveled, and the school's history could finally move forward, unburdened by the darkness of the past. With their heads held high, Emily and her friends looked to the future with hope and optimism. The final showdown with the malevolent spirit had tested their courage and resolve, but they had triumphed, bringing peace to the school and justice to the memory of Samuel Weaver. Their journey had been filled with peril and uncertainty, but in the end, they had discovered the true power of friendship, determination, and the unwavering pursuit of justice. Blackwood Junior High School was forever changed, and its students had become the heroes of their own haunting tale, a story of redemption, courage, and the enduring strength of the human spirit. Chapter 14. The spirit's redemption. As the amulet's radiant energy enveloped the malevolent spirit, a profound transformation swept over it. The once vengeful entity, tormented by centuries of anger and despair, began to wane, and its spectral form shifted into one of resignation and understanding. Emily and her friends watched in awe as the spirit's anger and malevolence slowly dissipated, replaced by a sense of longing and remorse. It was as if the truth had finally broken through the darkness that had bound it to the schoolyard. The spirit's eyes met Emily's, and in that moment, she felt a deep connection with the tormented soul that had haunted the school for so long. It was as if they shared a silent understanding, an acknowledgement of the injustice that had kept the spirit trapped in the world of the living. With its spectral voice, the spirit spoke, its words a haunting lament. I was wronged, and my anger consumed me for far too long. I could not find peace until the truth was known. Emily, her voice filled with empathy, replied, We acknowledge the injustice that was done to you, Samuel. We carry the evidence that can clear your name. The spirit nodded, its ethereal form quivering as if in acknowledgement of the truth. With a sweeping gesture, it beckoned toward the schoolyard, and a soft, ethereal glow emanated from the very ground they stood on. As the glow intensified, the earth beneath them seemed to shift, revealing a hidden treasure buried beneath the schoolyard's surface. The treasure, long forgotten and untouched for centuries, was a testament to the spirit's unfinished business in the world of the living. Emily and her friends approached the unearthed treasure, their curiosity piqued. Among the ancient artifacts and relics lay a weathered journal, the journal of Samuel Weaver, the groundskeeper of Blackwood Junior High School from over a century ago. Sarah carefully opened the journal, revealing its yellowed pages filled with meticulous handwriting. As they read Samuel's words, they discovered the tragic story of a man wrongfully accused of a crime he did not commit. His journal chronicled his dedication to the school, his unwavering love for the students, and the betrayal that had shattered his life. The spirit spoke once more, its voice now filled with a sense of longing and resolution. This journal holds the memories of my life and my love for this school. It was here that I found purpose and solace. But my life was unjustly taken from me, and my anger consumed me. Emily and her friends listened intently, their hearts heavy with the weight of Samuel's story. They knew that by revealing the truth and clearing his name, they had given the spirit the chance for redemption. "We promise to honor your memory, Samuel," Emily said, her voice filled with sincerity. "Your love for this school and its students will live on, and the injustice done to you will be acknowledged." The spirit nodded once more, its form growing fainter with each passing moment. It seemed to grow more ethereal, as if it were preparing to depart from the world of the living. As a final act of redemption, the spirit gestured to the schoolyard, its intentions clear. It was time for the spirit to find peace and release the school from its haunting grip. With a sense of closure, Emily and her friends stepped back, giving the spirit the space it needed to depart. As they watched, the spectral entity gradually faded away, leaving behind a sense of calm and serenity in the schoolyard. The haunting at Blackwood Junior High School had come to an end, and the malevolent spirit had found the redemption and peace it had sought for centuries. The schoolyard, once a place of fear and chaos, was now filled with a sense of tranquility and closure. Emily and her friends, their hearts heavy with the weight of the spirit's story, knew that they had made a profound difference. The truth had been revealed, justice had been served, and the spirit's memory would live on in the hearts of those who had fought to bring peace to the school. In the days that followed, the school administration, with the support of Professor Lorraine, decided to create a memorial in honor of Samuel Weaver. The memorial would serve as a reminder of the injustice that had been righted and the enduring power of truth and justice. As the schoolyard transformed into a place of remembrance and reflection, the students and teachers of Blackwood Junior High School found solace in knowing that they had played a part in the spirit's redemption. The haunting that had gripped their school for so long was finally a thing of the past, and a sense of closure had been achieved. Emily, Sarah, Mark, Joey, and the others knew that their journey had been filled with challenges and trials, but it had also brought about a profound sense of unity and purpose. They had discovered the true power of friendship, determination, and the unwavering pursuit of justice. As they looked to the future, the haunting tale of Blackwood Junior High had come to a close, a story of redemption, courage, and the enduring strength of the human spirit. The spirit had found its peace, the school had found its closure, and the memory of Samuel Weaver would live on as a testament to the enduring power of truth and justice. Chapter 15. The school's reopening in the aftermath of the spirit's redemption and the resolution of the haunting that had gripped Blackwood Junior High School for centuries, a profound transformation had taken place. The schoolyard, once a place of fear and chaos, had returned to a state of normalcy, its tumultuous past finally put to rest. The possessed equipment that had once moved on its own, the swings that had rattled, and the malevolent slide that had exuded an icy chill were now silent and still. The supernatural phenomena that had plagued the schoolyard had ceased, replaced by a sense of calm and serenity. Students and teachers, who had lived in fear of the haunting for so long, could now freely enjoy the schoolyard once more. The soccer field, the tennis court, and the track and field equipment were no longer under the malevolent spirit's control. The sense of relief and closure was palpable. In the days that followed the spirit's departure, the school administration, with the support of Professor Lorraine, had worked tirelessly to create a memorial in honor of Samuel Weaver, the groundskeeper whose life had been unjustly taken and whose memory now served as a testament to the enduring power of truth and justice. The memorial, a beautifully crafted statue of Samuel Weaver, stood at the entrance of the schoolyard. It served as a reminder of the injustice that had been righted and the spirit's redemption. Students and teachers often paused to pay their respects, acknowledging the profound impact of the haunting and the ultimate resolution. Emily, Sarah, Mark, Joey, and the others had played a pivotal role in bringing an end to the haunting and helping the spirit find peace. Their journey had been fraught with challenges and trials, but it had also forged deep bonds of friendship and an unwavering commitment to justice. As the schoolyard returned to normal, Emily's role in saving the school was acknowledged and celebrated. The students and teachers recognized her as the reluctant mediator between the living and the dead, the one who had connected with the spirit and offered it the chance for redemption. During a school assembly held in the newly revitalized schoolyard, Mr. Thompson, the principal, took to the podium to address the gathered students and staff. The atmosphere was filled with a sense of unity and closure, and Emily sat among her friends, their expressions filled with pride. Ladies and gentlemen, students and teachers, we gather here today to mark a new chapter in the history of Blackwood Junior High School, Mr. Thompson began, his voice filled with gratitude. We have faced challenges that few schools have ever experienced, but through our collective determination and the unwavering commitment of our students, we have triumphed. He went on to acknowledge Emily's pivotal role in resolving the haunting and bringing closure to the school. It is with great honor that we recognize Emily, a student who showed immense courage, compassion, and the belief in the power of justice. She played a crucial role in helping the spirit find peace and in bringing an end to the haunting that had gripped our school. The gathered students and staff erupted in applause, their cheers a testament to Emily's bravery and determination. Emily blushed but stood tall, her heart filled with a sense of fulfillment. After the assembly, Emily and her friends gathered near Samuel Weaver's memorial. They knew that their journey had come full circle, and the haunting tale of Blackwood Junior High had come to a close. "We did it," Mark said, his voice filled with pride. "We faced the malevolent spirit, uncovered the truth, and helped it find redemption. Our schoolyard is finally at peace." Joey nodded in agreement. "And we've honored the memory of Samuel Weaver. He can finally rest in peace, knowing that justice has been served." Emily smiled at her friends, her heart warmed by their words. "None of this would have been possible without all of you. We faced the unknown together, and we emerged stronger and closer than ever." The group exchanged smiles and nods, knowing that their bonds of friendship had been forged through adversity and triumph. The haunting at Blackwood Junior High School had tested their courage and resolve, but it had also revealed the true power of unity and justice. As the schoolyard bathed in the warm glow of the setting sun, the students and teachers of Blackwood Junior High School looked to the future with hope and optimism. The haunting tale that had once gripped their school was now a story of redemption, courage, and the enduring strength of the human spirit. With the memory of Samuel Weaver as their guide and the knowledge that justice had been served, the school reopened its doors, ready to embrace a new chapter in its history, one filled with peace, closure, and the promise of a brighter future. Chapter 16. A new beginning. As the days turned into weeks and the haunting at Blackwood Junior High School became a distant memory, Emily found herself faced with a difficult decision. She had played a pivotal role in resolving the paranormal crisis that had gripped the school for centuries, and now, with the spirit's redemption and the return of peace to the schoolyard, she felt that her purpose had been fulfilled. One evening, Emily sat in her room, her thoughts filled with the events that had transpired. She had grown close to her friends, faced unimaginable challenges, and discovered her unique ability to communicate with spirits. But she also knew that it was time to move on, to explore new horizons and continue her journey. Emily's parents had noticed the change in their daughter, the way she had matured and grown during the extraordinary events at Blackwood Junior High. They sat down with her, and as a family, they discussed the path she wanted to take. "I feel like I've done what I needed to do here," Emily admitted to her parents. "The schoolyard is at peace, and the memory of Samuel Weaver is honored. But I also feel like there's more out there for me to discover, more spirits to help and mysteries to unravel." Her parents understood her need to explore her unique gift and supported her decision. They knew that Emily had a special connection with the supernatural world and that her journey was far from over. With their blessing, Emily made the difficult decision to leave Blackwood Junior High School. She said her goodbyes to her friends, who understood her need to continue her journey, and promised to keep in touch. The students and teachers of Blackwood Junior High reflected on the extraordinary events that had transpired during Emily's time at the school. They marveled at the way their lives had been touched by the paranormal, forever changed by the presence of a malevolent spirit and the bravery of a young girl. During a school assembly held in the revitalized schoolyard, Mr. Thompson addressed the gathered students and staff once more. He acknowledged Emily's departure and the impact she had made on the school. "Emily has shown us that the extraordinary can happen in the most unexpected of places," he said, his voice filled with pride. "She has helped us find closure and peace, and we are grateful for her courage and determination." The students and teachers applauded, their cheers a testament to Emily's remarkable journey and her role in bringing an end to the haunting that had gripped the school for so long. With Emily's departure, life at Blackwood Junior High School returned to a semblance of normalcy, but with a touch of the paranormal. The schoolyard, once a place of fear and chaos, had become a symbol of redemption and closure. Occasionally, students and teachers would share stories of the supernatural events that had transpired during Emily's time at the school. They spoke of the malevolent spirit that had haunted the equipment, of the ancient amulet that had broken the curse, and of the journal that had revealed Samuel Weaver's tragic story. The schoolyard, now a place of remembrance and reflection, continued to be a source of inspiration and wonder. Some claimed to feel a gentle presence lingering in the air, a reminder of the spirit's redemption and the enduring power of justice. As the years passed, Emily continued her journey, traveling to places where her unique gift could help spirits find peace and closure. She never forgot her time at Blackwood Junior High School, where she had discovered her purpose and made lifelong friends. Life at the school moved forward, forever changed by the extraordinary events that had transpired. The students and teachers carried the memory of Emily and the spirit's redemption with them, a reminder that even in the face of the supernatural, justice and compassion could prevail. And so, the haunting tale of Blackwood Junior High School became a story of courage, redemption, and the enduring strength of the human spirit. It was a story that would be told for generations, a testament to the extraordinary events that had unfolded within its walls and the young girl who had helped bring peace to the paranormal. Chapter 17. Epilogue. Several years had passed since Emily's departure from Blackwood Junior High School. During that time, she had continued her journey, using her unique gift to help spirits find peace and closure in various places across the country. Her experiences had deepened her understanding of the paranormal, and she had become a renowned speaker and expert in the field of supernatural investigations. One sunny afternoon, Emily received a letter in the mail. The return address read, Blackwood Junior High School. Curiosity piqued. She opened the envelope and found an invitation from the school's current principal, inviting her to return as a guest speaker to share her remarkable story. Emily was both surprised and honored by the invitation. She knew that her time at Blackwood Junior High had been a turning point in her life, and she felt a deep connection to the school and its history. With a sense of nostalgia and anticipation, she accepted the invitation and made plans to return to the place where her journey had begun. On the day of her visit, Emily stepped onto the familiar grounds of Blackwood Junior High School. The schoolyard, once a place of supernatural turmoil, now exuded a sense of peace and tranquility. The students played and laughed, unaware of the extraordinary events that had unfolded there in the past. As Emily entered the school, she was greeted by Mr. Thompson, the principal, who had remained at the helm of the school. He welcomed her warmly and escorted her to the assembly hall, where she would address the students and staff. The assembly hall was filled with eager faces, and Emily couldn't help but feel a sense of nostalgia as she looked out at the audience. She began her presentation, recounting the events that had transpired during her time at Blackwood Junior High, the haunting, the malevolent spirit, and the journey of redemption. The students listened intently, their eyes wide with wonder and disbelief. It was a story that seemed almost too extraordinary to be true, but Emily's sincerity and the evidence of the spirit's redemption left a profound impact on her audience. I stand before you today as living proof that the extraordinary can happen in the most unexpected of places, Emily told the students. My time at this school taught me the importance of compassion, understanding, and the enduring power of justice. She went on to emphasize the importance of empathy and the significance of acknowledging the pain and suffering of others. We may not always see the struggles that people carry with them, but by extending a hand of compassion, we can help them find the peace they deserve. The students of Blackwood Junior High School listened to Emily's words, and many were moved by her story. They understood that their school had been touched by something otherworldly, and it had ultimately become a place of redemption and closure. As the assembly came to a close, Emily received a standing ovation from the students and staff. Mr. Thompson thanked her for her inspiring words and her role in bringing an end to the haunting that had haunted their school for centuries. After the presentation, Emily spent time talking with the students, answering their questions, and sharing her experiences in the field of paranormal investigation. She hoped to inspire them to approach the world with open hearts and minds, ready to face the unknown with compassion and understanding. As she left Blackwood Junior High School once more, Emily couldn't help but feel a sense of fulfillment. Her journey had come full circle, and the schoolyard, once a place of fear and chaos, had become a symbol of redemption and peace. The legend of the haunting at Blackwood Junior High School lived on, a reminder of the extraordinary events that had unfolded within its walls and the young girl who had helped bring peace to the paranormal. The students continued their studies, carrying with them the lessons of compassion and understanding that Emily had imparted. And so, the story of Blackwood Junior High School remained a testament to the enduring power of justice, empathy, and the human spirit. As the years passed, the schoolyard remained peaceful, a place of remembrance and reflection where the legend of the haunting would forever be a part of its history. Chapter 18. The unseen protector. Years passed, and the memory of the malevolent spirit that had haunted Blackwood Junior High School slowly faded into legend. The schoolyard had returned to a state of peaceful normalcy, and life carried on with the memory of Emily's journey and the spirit's redemption lingering as a testament to the school's extraordinary history. But even as the spirit had departed from the schoolyard, it had left behind an indelible mark. The legend of Samuel Weaver, the unjustly accused groundskeeper, had become intertwined with the school's identity. His story was shared from one generation of students to the next, a reminder of the enduring power of truth and justice. However, there was more to the story than met the eye. Unbeknownst to most, the malevolent spirit had not truly left the school grounds. In its final moments of redemption, it had made a silent promise to watch over the place it had once called home. A brief glimpse into the spirit's existence revealed a remarkable transformation. No longer tormented and malevolent, the spirit had become a benevolent presence, its spectral form now radiating a soft, ethereal light. It drifted through the corridors of Blackwood Junior High School, its watchful eyes observing the students and teachers with a sense of protective care. Students occasionally sensed the spirit's presence, but unlike the days of the haunting, there was no fear. Instead, they felt a subtle warmth and comfort, as if an unseen protector watched over them. Some claimed to have seen fleeting glimpses of a spectral figure in moments of solitude, a gentle reminder that they were never truly alone. In times of doubt or hardship, students would sometimes find unexpected solace, as if an unseen hand guided them toward the right path. Teachers, too, felt the spirit's presence during moments of inspiration, as if the benevolent entity whispered words of guidance and encouragement. The legend of the haunting at Blackwood Junior High School lived on, but now it carried a new dimension, a story of redemption and an unseen protector. Generations of students passed through the school's doors, their lives touched by the spirit's presence in ways they could not fully explain. As the years turned into decades, the spirit became a beloved and cherished part of the school's history. It was a source of comfort, a reminder that even in the face of darkness and injustice, there could be redemption and light. The school's emblem bore the image of a benevolent spirit, its ethereal form etched into the hearts of all who walked its halls. Students learned the story of Samuel Weaver, the groundskeeper who had been wronged, and the spirit that had found peace and redemption. And so, the malevolent spirit that had once haunted Blackwood Junior High School had become an unseen protector, a guardian of the place it had once called home. Its presence served as a testament to the enduring power of justice, compassion, and the belief that even in the world of the supernatural, there could be redemption and peace. As the schoolyard bathed in the warm glow of the setting sun, the students and teachers of Blackwood Junior High School continued their journey, knowing that they were never truly alone. The legend of the haunting had evolved into a story of hope and resilience, a reminder that even in the face of the unknown, there could be a benevolent presence watching over them, a guardian of their school, their memories, and the enduring spirit of justice and compassion. Chapter 19. The hidden secrets. The years had passed, and Blackwood Junior High School had settled into a state of tranquility and normalcy. The legend of the malevolent spirit, the redemption of Samuel Weaver, and the benevolent presence that watched over the school had become an integral part of its history. But just when it seemed that all the mysteries had been unraveled, a final twist awaited, one that hinted at more paranormal adventures yet to come. It all began when a group of students, inspired by the stories they had heard about Emily and the haunting, decided to explore the schoolyard during their free time. Armed with curiosity and a desire for adventure, they ventured beyond the familiar playground and soccer field, into the less trodden areas of the school grounds. As they explored the perimeter of the schoolyard, they stumbled upon something unexpected, a hidden doorway, concealed beneath a thick veil of ivy and moss. The door, weathered and ancient, seemed to lead into the depths of the earth, hinting at secrets yet undiscovered. The students were both excited and apprehensive, their imaginations running wild with possibilities. They knew that the schoolyard held many stories, and this hidden doorway seemed to be a gateway to another chapter of its history. Word of the discovery quickly spread, and soon, a small group of students, led by Sarah, Mark, and Joey, decided to investigate further. They gathered in front of the mysterious doorway, their faces filled with anticipation. "It's like something out of a ghost story," Sarah remarked, her voice a mixture of excitement and unease. Joey nodded in agreement. "Who knows what lies beyond this door? It could be another adventure waiting for us." With that, Mark reached out and pushed the ancient door open, revealing a dark, narrow passageway that descended into the depths below. The students exchanged nervous glances but couldn't resist the allure of the unknown. With flashlights in hand, they ventured into the darkness, stepping into a world that seemed frozen in time. As they descended deeper into the passageway, they discovered that it led to a hidden underground chamber, a place that had remained untouched for centuries. The walls of the chamber were adorned with faded murals and symbols, hinting at a forgotten history and a connection to the supernatural. In the center of the chamber, they found an ornate pedestal, upon which rested an ancient amulet, an artifact similar to the one Emily had used to break the curse that had plagued the schoolyard. It pulsed with an otherworldly energy, as if waiting for someone to claim it. As the students examined the amulet, they couldn't help but wonder about its significance. Had it played a role in the haunting of the schoolyard? What secrets did it hold? And why had it been hidden away in this chamber for so long? Sarah, Mark, and Joey exchanged glances, knowing that they had stumbled upon another paranormal mystery, one that was intricately tied to the history of Blackwood Junior High School. The story concluded with a sense of mystery and the potential for future tales of adventure and discovery. The students, inspired by the hidden secrets they had uncovered, were determined to delve deeper into the history of their school and the paranormal mysteries that lay hidden beneath its surface. As they left the chamber, the hidden doorway closed behind them, concealing its secrets once more. The schoolyard, with its peaceful exterior, held within it a world of mystery and potential adventures yet to come. The legend of Blackwood Junior High School had evolved into a story of resilience, redemption, and the enduring quest for truth and justice. And with the discovery of the hidden chamber and the ancient amulet, the students had embarked on a new journey, a journey that would take them deeper into the supernatural, as they unraveled the hidden secrets of their school and the mysteries that awaited in the shadows. The story of Blackwood Junior High School would continue, a tale of endless possibilities and the unending pursuit of the unknown, a testament to the enduring spirit of adventure, curiosity, and the belief that even in the face of the paranormal, there could be answers waiting to be discovered. Chapter 20. The unending mystery years turned into decades, and Blackwood Junior High School continued to stand as a place where the ordinary met the extraordinary. The discovery of the hidden chamber and the ancient amulet had left an indelible mark on the school's history, and the schoolyard remained a place of wonder and intrigue. Students who had heard the stories of Emily's adventures, the malevolent spirit, and the benevolent protector felt a special connection to their school. They walked through the corridors with a sense of reverence, knowing that they walked on hallowed ground, where the paranormal and the everyday coexisted. Teachers, too, had their own stories to share. Some spoke of inexplicable phenomena, a flickering light, a whisper in the breeze, or a gentle touch on the shoulder. These encounters were not met with fear but with a sense of acceptance, as if the school itself had embraced the supernatural as part of its identity. The legend of Samuel Weaver, the unjustly accused groundskeeper, and the malevolent spirit had become woven into the fabric of the school's culture. Students studied the history of their school with a sense of awe, and each generation added its own chapter to the ongoing tale of Blackwood Junior High. The school's emblem bore the image of the ancient amulet, a symbol of mystery and potential. It served as a reminder that the school held secrets yet undiscovered, waiting for those who dared to explore the depths of its history. The story ended not with a resolution but with the promise of more paranormal adventures awaiting those who dared to delve into the mysteries of Blackwood Junior High. The schoolyard remained a place of wonder, where the supernatural and the mundane coexisted in harmony, a testament to the enduring power of curiosity, adventure, and the unending mystery of the unknown. And so, the tale of Blackwood Junior High School continued, a story of endless possibilities and the unending pursuit of the paranormal, an invitation to all who walked its halls to embrace the extraordinary and to believe that even in the most ordinary of places, there could be secrets waiting to be uncovered. If you have enjoyed our paranormal scary story about the haunted schoolyard in Blackwood, please visit us at Paranormal Untold Stories. Come to listen to more of our scary stories collection. Paranormal Untold Stories encourages you to contact us if you have your own untold story that you would like our professionals team to put online as a scary story. Thank you. Please follow our YouTube channel, Paranormal Untold Stories, and encourage others to do the same. Paranormal Untold Stories.